We are installing the rear high clearance Nemesis flares today. These require a ridiculous amount of cutting. I didn't film the first one because it was a huge learning experience for me, but I will record the second one. But here's the first one installed. Lots of cutting that had to get done. The lineup was kind of tough. Again, it's just a silly amount of cutting, which is a good thing, by the way. Like, I want lots of clearance, but I kind of want to show you how these nut certs work. It's kind of cool. Well, you thread your nut cert onto the tool. You give it a little bit of red Loctite on the splined areas. And then, ooh, how do these go? Like that. So ram her on through the hole. Let me see if I can get this on camera. So it goes in there, and then if you've never worked with nut certs, watch the splined section as I crimp it down. See that? Then you have a threaded hole into a thin piece of aluminum. There is no videos on the internet showing how to install these Nemesis high clearance rear inner fenders. So I'm gonna do my best to show you guys exactly how it's done. Most of my videos, as you guys know, are off-road videos. I'm not the DIY here, how to video maker guy, but I'll do my best. These fenders, if you've already ordered them, they require a lot of cutting. So be prepared for that. Be okay with that. I got this Jeep I'm into it cheap enough to where I'm good with cutting it up, and the clearance is worth it to me for less lift height to run 40s. So if that's what you're going for, then you went the right route. If you're just going for some inner fenders and you order the high clearance ones, which I think Nemesis would probably advise against, you probably went the wrong route. But here we are, and we're installing them. So if you ordered them and weren't prepared to do cutting, tough shit.
Tough shit, the deal is done!
I have already done quite a bit of cutting in this area here. I cut about inch and a quarter off from here. And so right here, it used to be about inch and a quarter longer, and then I tapered this down here. Over here, I cut out quite a bit more, as you can see. I think it used to be all the way into here, and then it tapered up to there. What we will be cutting even more so of is that inner piece right here all the way down to here. So all this needs to come out by quite a bit. The other side, I used a hammer and just pounded it up, but it was ugly. It took way too much. Trust me on this, it will be easier to just cut it out. The other thing that we're gonna cut out on the front side is that little lip right here, because the fender has to sit up into here, and that will prevent it from doing so. So we'll be cutting that out and that back piece. Grab your grinder, a disc, quite a few of them probably, glasses, and earmuffs, a drill, and a 9/32 bit, and a W size bit, and probably a flat disc too, and we'll get started. I need to get back in behind there, and to see, I need to pull the wheel off. I need a different type of tool, and I don't know what yet. All right, we're back. I went to the store to try to get a cutter attachment for this. I have the discs, I just don't have the little attachment. The store didn't have it. So we're back at it with the angle grinder. And I think I'm pretty close to getting it out of here, the piece. It's gonna be ugly because I had to make a bunch of cuts like that, not just a continuous cut. But I got it to where it's close. But I had to put the big wheel on, AKA the scary wheel, to try to get the last little bit. All right, there's the big piece you gotta have out of there. I may need to do even more, I'm not sure yet. I definitely gotta get rid of some of this foam in here. And I still gotta do the little piece in the front. But let's hold it up there and see how close we are. Oh yeah, I think we're good. Well, maybe not. I gotta cut a little more back here. And then the piece in the front. So I'm gonna do the piece in the front first and see how our lineup is. Okay, so I got that part notched out. I think I'm good there. I might have to get that little booger out of there. And then I got all this cut. I think, yeah, that'll work right there. You just push that up with your thumb. It's just stuck in there. But that's pretty complete. That's what it'll look like when it's done. So there's a bunch of like this stuff, this painted seam sealer that I had to grind down right here, down to bare metal. And then I'm gonna hit all these bare metal spots with some paint. I have some gray spray paint that's pretty close, including all of that. Let me try to get you the best view I can before we do final assembly. So this is what it should look like when you're done. Kind of cut out in here. And this is from the inside looking out. This is trimmed all the way down here. I know it's not pretty, but I work with the tools I got. You drill out that guy to whatever it said in the instructions. I can't remember. I think it's 1964. Don't get too crazy like I almost did and take out your gas line. I think it's those three. These little button head Allens, and then the flange nut behind it. Oh, how the hell am I gonna get to that? 7/16 wrench, put it in the boxed end, and then you gotta kinda just feel for it. Oh, maybe. Oh, that one is extremely tricky.
Time is tricky. It's tricky.
That's it for the main part, and then I got a piece that goes on right here and bolts to the body, and then a little guard piece that just hangs down here and just blocks this area. All right, here are our last two pieces, this guy and that guy. And there's two bigger holes, well, on the tops of them. Those are for the nutserts. So we will go ahead and throw these nutserts in. You're gonna wanna put a little red Loctite on the splined areas, on all of them. Okay, so there's that piece. Kind of goes like that. Nutserts go this way. Goes like this. You thread those ones in, and then you mark those two holes, drill them out, put nutserts in the body. Here's the front piece, nutserts installed. It just slaps up in here, pretty simple. Okay, so you bolt this back piece on here, and then on both sides I had this issue. So you see how it's pushed in and it actually covers that piece of the body mount right there. So you just pull it over to where it lines up with that square hole, throw some vice grips on there, and then mark your holes, that hole and that hole, or just use the plate as a guide and drill a pilot hole, which is what we're gonna do. I think that's about where it'll go. Now I got my 2 pilot holes, and I will drill them to the W-size drill bit. We are to the point of installing the flare. So you lay it down, face down, or the body side up, and then they give you this 45-inch piece of stick-on foam. As you can see, these are the Highline flares, so that's pretty much even with the body. And then right there, it steps away from that little insert where the stock fender would go and goes up onto the part of the body that is the widest. So that's the part right there. That's where you start your foam, and then you run it all the way around and down to that end. I don't have chick's fingernails to peel it off very easy. So I'm gonna start it right here. Then I put a little piece down here. I don't know if it needs it or not. I'm getting ready to install these. There is one that is a royal pain. It is that one right there. So you have to like snake it down in there with a magnet and then reach in there and try to catch it with the Allen key from the magnet and drive it into the hole. It's not gonna be fun, but if you do that one, if you do the 2 end ones first and let the fender kind of hang out and then push it up against there and get it started, I think that's gonna be the move. I got it started here. I got that one started and that one started, and the fender's like hanging way outside of the Jeep. And I should be able to drop the one in there with a magnet, reach in here with the Allen key and catch it. Oh, it's not very magnetic either. So it's on the magnet. I'm reaching in through the top very carefully. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, sweet, I got it. Now I just gotta get it started in the hole. Heck yeah, that was way easier than I thought it was. I don't know if you can see, maybe. Rear flares installed. Look how high they are. It's just a couple inches below the top, 4 inches or so. They turned out really good. I'm pretty pumped on them. Can't do the fronts. Well, I could, but I don't want to do the fronts until I get the bumper done, because I don't want to be spraying sparks on the fresh paint. And I have to cut the frame. All right, that was one of my first times using a plasma cutter, and oh man, that's a huge game changer when it comes to cutting crap like that. Trying to get one more thing done today before I have to go to a family dinner. So this thing had all the wiring for to tow a trailer. It actually had stuff for a 4-pin and a 7-pin, and the plug was wired directly into the bumper. And I sold the bumper, and I didn't want there to be just a big ugly hole and then the guy to not want to buy it because of that. So I just cut the wiring, and I ordered another one of these for $5 on Amazon. And we're gonna wire up the plug. That way, if I ever want to haul a little utility trailer, or maybe if somebody else were to use the Jeep when we do the scooter challenge, and bring a little utility trailer as a support vehicle, then we want to be able to do that. Well, that'll be good enough for now, till we figure out exactly where that sits compared to where the rear bumper ends. It might be tucked up in there, and we might have to drill a hole in it for here, or just zip tie it up here and kind of keep it tucked out of the way. Today we are working on the front frame chop. So let me show you here. I cut the ends off with the plasma cutter yesterday, and that went extremely fast. That plasma cutter's a ripper. No paid promotion, nothing like that. It's like an Art Captain 55, and it was, I want to say it was like less than $200, and that thing, I love that thing. But anyway, you got to cut off this bracket, and then back here, the sway bar bracket, and then you got to trim this, like that part out, and then smooth everything out, and then make your final cut, which comes down kind of at an angle like that. It's a lot of cutting, so I'll probably just put you guys on hyperlapse and let you kind of watch. A couple things to note: get all your wiring tucked out of the way if you're going to be using a plasma cutter or anything really. I mean, even an angle grinder would screw up some wires. You got to unbolt this line on the JL, and then let's see if I can pull that rubber piece out. Yep. So pull your rubber piece out. You're gonna do the same on both sides, and then just start cutting away. It takes a lot of time. In between the cutting, I will be finishing up some more painting of parts. I don't know if the moisture got to it, but like a couple of these parts, a couple of these cans, I believe the cans are, one can is labeled wrong, because all the other cans are turning out satin black like you would expect. And then you use this one can, it's labeled satin, but it comes out very flat. Like, let me show you. So, satin black. That looks like it's flat to me. I'm not going to be using that can anymore, which means I'm out of paint. So hopefully I have time to go get some, or maybe my order will show up from Amazon today. Okay, check this out. So you slip the bumper on, it goes as far as it'll go, and then it hits the edge of the frame, or the outside edge of the frame on the inside edge of the bumper. And then you mark these holes here and drill them to 9/16, deburr the outside, and then how do you deburr the inside? So Steven showed me this tool. It is awesome. I think it's called a finger sander, but it's got this little tiny belt, and then you can reach in and deburr stuff like that. All right, so you slip these little I think they're called U-nuts in there. And then I do wonder how tight the bumper is gonna be with those things in there, because it was already tight without those. Okay, it works. And you throw these guys in there just for alignment for now. Then you mark the sides. So there, 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 and then on the inside, up there, but I don't know how, I don't know, maybe I can get in there somehow. Okay, this side is drilled. The real test is you put these anti-crush things in there, which I guess probably need to like sweep that out with a little brush or something. But you slip those in there, and then yeah, it's pretty good. A little tiny bit off. How about this one? Yeah, I'll take it. Okay, we are almost ready for paint. These holes lined up pretty good. These other two did not. I don't know if I didn't have the drill quite level or what, but they're not perfect. So I punched them out a 32nd bigger, and now I think they'll line up, and if not, I can go a little bigger beyond that. But what I'm gonna do is, I think right along here on the bottom, I'll put a weld as well. That way the bumper can't shift forward at all if I'm really yanking on somebody. So it'll be plenty tough. I'm not worried about that. I just wish it would have turned out perfect. But so I'm to that point where I think the frame horns are ready for paint. One thing you got to do on the JL specifically, pull your sway bar bushing, and you got to cut it flat. So you got to cut off right along there. So like that. It's hot today. It's like 90 out. And I'm having one of those days where nothing is turning out very well at all. I don't know if it's me, or the heat, or what. Let me show you. First of all, I had to cut these sway bar bushings flat. That one turned out pretty good. As you can see, that one did not. I gotta get a new one, but that one will work in the meantime for me to get it mounted up. And then I got my drilled holes here. They turned out very bad. They did not line up. First I went like a 32nd over on the sizes, thinking, oh, that'll fix it. Then I went a 16th over on all the holes on the frame. Still didn't line up. Then I went a 32nd over on the holes on the bumper. Still didn't line up. Then I had to go a 16th over on the bumper. So nothing's really turning out very well at all today. I mean, the saving grace is they say you can weld this bumper on, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing, but I really wanted to be able to bolt it on as well. So, I mean, I'm going to get the bolts in there one way or the other, but it's definitely going to get some weld to help. And then on top of that, it's probably too hot outside for me to be painting, or even this morning, but none of the paint is turning out worth a crap. I don't know why. Like, look at, I don't know why it's doing that. Probably just because of the heat. I don't know. But yeah, today is a day I should be doing anything other than working on stuff, because nothing's turning out very good at all. Okay, we're about to put the front fenders on, but before we do, the first thing you gotta do is wipe this real good and clean, and then put the foam backer on there. And don't pull it super tight, or it will end up coming loose on the corners and it becomes a pain. I just got a rag with brake clean on it, and hopefully that'll get it plenty clean. All right, we're gonna mount this thing up there, and then we gotta mark, I think there's like 3 holes that don't have riv nuts in them yet that need riv nuts. So we will hold this thing up there, mark all the spots that still need riv nuts, pull it back down, drill them out, put the riv nuts in. Most of them are lined up pretty good. That one's a little off. Probably drill that hole out a little bigger. That one's off a ways. I just skipped it on the other side because you got this through bolt right here. And that's pretty well lined up. And then I gotta mark this one, and that one. So they're supposed to go right there. And then they just kind of hang down right there. I didn't like that, so I drilled it in. There's the blinker doing what it does, blinking. I ran the wires down in here, up there, into there. Now I'm gonna pull it back off and wrap it in tape. All right, like I said earlier, it's been a hell of a day. Nothing is going right today for me. But this is pretty cool. It's not done yet, not even close, but you can kind of see the picture that I had in my head coming together. Let me show you. So, still on baby tiny tires. The grill's just setting in there. It's not even actually connected, but you see how high those fender arches are. And then how little of room that bumper takes up on the front end. Tires will just be very exposed to be able to climb. Bumper's just sitting on there right now. It's gonna be hell to get it actually bolted on because none of my holes line up, and it's not painted yet. I mean, it's primered, but that's it. But I cannot wait to get the aux beams on here. Yeah, maybe something like that. I think that would be pretty easy to mount them right there. And I thought I was done, but done for the day. But one more quick project. So this is this offset Rotopax mount for the back. And then there's my Rotopax mount. I'm gonna drill this out to where that bolts up. No, those 4 holes do not line up already. All right, so now I just need a saw mount to go right here.
Who's going to chainsaw? I'm not chainsawing.
All right, we got these little pillar light mounts here from Moto Built. They're super cheap, they're like 29 bucks retail. You got to pull this little this little Torx cap out of here, but it's not on there very tight at all. So you can actually do it without like destroying the paint on this thing, because it's a painted bolt, a paint matched bolt, or actually technically a nut. But so you pulled that off, and I know the paint's crap on this. I'm gonna sand it and redo it. I don't know what's going on with my paint. But then this goes through that little small ear and threads into there. So we're not putting them on yet, again, because they need repainted, but I want to figure out exactly how much room I need for my wire, and then I want to put these cowl pieces back on. So let me grab the aux beam. So if that's sitting right there, let's just plug it in. And that's right there. That's about all the wire I need. There we go. This thing's starting to look more and more like a Jeep. So the other one went on perfect. So maybe today is a chuck luck day. Anyway, I got this one to go on. I had to massage it a little, but it should be good to go, I think. We'll see here. Ow, damn it. How did that thing do that? It hit me right in the nuts. These are new from aux beam. Oh no, are they not gonna? Oh, there we go, okay. My paint was just way too thick. And what's really cool about these, I'll show you guys in just a minute, but you see how it's amber, obviously? Well, you can actually swap out this lens for a clear one if you want. So if I just decide to switch it up, that is an option.